Most business owners build beautiful funnels to get clients, then hire like it's Craigslist in 2004. Roll open, stress spikes, you throw a post on Indeed, and 6 months later, you're managing the gap between who you needed and who you actually got. And if you've ever hired someone and thought to yourself, this was supposed to give me my time back, why am I actually working more? You have a hiring system problem. Today, I'm going to show you how to build an A player hiring funnel so the right people are lined up before you need them. And you never have to do desperate hiring ever again. Can I get an amen to that? So if we haven't met before, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvin. I've been a business owner for over 20 years. I'm the author of the best-selling book, The 67-Day Year, and I've helped thousands of business owners build what I call a self-scaling company. Businesses that can hit their numbers and grow revenue without them in every Slack thread and every decision. So quick personal story. I almost made $250,000 operator hire before I built the team system. If I'd done it, she would have had to ask me everything. I would have spent double the time for zero relief. That's when I decided I will never hire from desperation again. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple 4-stage A player hiring funnel that you can start building this week so that you have a bench of great candidates ready before a seat opens. We're going to shift how you think about hiring, build your A player job description, and then turn it into a real funnel with 4 key steps: attract, filter, interview, and bench. If you only think about hiring when someone quits, you're already behind. Most business owners hire from pain. Someone leaves, work piles up, you post a generic job, you take the best of whoever happens to be looking that week. Then you spend 3 to 6 months managing that gap between who you needed and who you actually got. Think about how you build a client funnel. You know exactly who your ideal client is. You know who is not a great fit. You put out content that attracts the right ones and repels the wrong ones. You keep a pipeline warm so that when you're ready to sell, they're already leaning in. Hiring works the same way. You just never treated it like that. You don't hire when you're desperate. You build a bench when you're not, so that when you need someone, you're choosing from people you've already believed in. So one A player in a key role can take 10 to 20 hours off of your plate, but a B player in that same seat adds 5 to 10 hours of management on top of what you already do. That's a 15 to 30 hour swing per week from one decision. The goal is simple. Treat hiring with the same intentionality you treat client acquisition. That's how you get your time back and get out of key man risk. So a traditional job description lists tasks. An A player job description describes the person so clearly that the right person feels seen and the wrong person opts out. So before you write one word, I want you to think about who's the best person you've ever hired. And if you had one person to clone, who would it be? That is your template for the job descriptions. So some of the questions to answer is, how does that perfect person, that clonable person, show up? Their energy, their attitude, their presence. How do they treat their teammates, their clients, your vendors, right? What do they do when something goes wrong? What do they do without being asked? How do they handle ambiguity when the answer isn't clear? And if they left tomorrow, what would break and why? Really think through with the visual around that person. Like, picture them in your mind and just write down what you love about them, how they show up, like how they treat your clients, how they treat each other. What do they do when things go wrong? What is it about that person that makes you want to clone them? Detail it in adjectives. As much as you could describe this person, this is paramount. So this is not a personality test. You're identifying these observable behaviors, values, and patterns that your best people share. That's what goes into a job description. So this is your dream candidate paragraph. You're writing as if you're describing that very best employee. Some of the language cues are, you're the kind of person who, or you thrive when. Your friends would describe you as ... right? So cover character, values, how they show up day to day, comfort with ownership, how they handle pressure and failure. And then we want to dive into, who's this role not for? This section, most business owners skip because they're afraid of being too much. This is where you save yourself. You want to pull from your worst employee patterns. What did they do when things got hard and unclear? How did they handle it poorly? How did they feedback and miss deadlines? Did they want tasks or ownership? What energy did they bring on boring days? So here's some of the examples. Like, this role is not for you if you need constant direction to get started, or if accountability feels like criticism. You will not enjoy this culture. You see how direct that is? We've got to make sure we say it, we shout it out. The role itself You describe what they actually do in terms of outcomes, not tasks. So some examples here, bad ones is like managing social media. A good one is owning our social media presence and is accountable for leads and engagement from that channel. So hit what they own, what success looks like at 30, 60, 90 days, and what a great week looks like, and what decisions they make without you. You want to also next add, why would they want this job? A players don't move for a paycheck. They move for a mission, growth, and ownership. So you want to cover things like the mission of the business, why it matters, what they'll build and be able to say they did, how they can grow if they crush it. Okay, so let's pick one key role. Draft just 2 sections this week. Who is this for and who is this not for? You'll instantly get a clear picture of who you're actually trying to hire. So next, an hiring funnel works exactly like a client funnel: attract, filter, nurture, close before the money's on the table. So stage 1 is attract. You're not just posting when there's a vacancy. You're constantly showing that your company is a place A players want to work. So pick a channel, one or 2 channels, either LinkedIn, and post about culture and wins and what it's like to work for you. Or maybe Instagram or Facebook, behind the scenes with team, client wins, or job boards. Use your A player description with the not for you section. You will stand out. Or maybe industry groups or associations, your own client and partner network. These are places that you can put this, right? The goal is that when the right person starts quietly looking, your company is already on their radar. That's big, right? So stage 2, your job description does the first filter. Your application process does the second. So make it slightly effortful, like add a specific instruction buried in the post. In the first paragraph, tell us, what is a typical Tuesday look like for you? If they ignore it, they're out. Right? Ask 2 to 3 short questions that reveal their character. Tell us more about a time you owned an outcome that was yours alone. Or what does accountability look like to you when you miss a deadline? You're looking for specifics, ownership language, examples, not fluff. All right, stage 3 is the interview. You want to treat the interview like a diagnostic call. You're qualifying them and they're qualifying you. Some great questions here is, tell me about a time you made a decision at work without enough information. Or what did you do the last time you realized you made a mistake with a client? If we said, here's the outcome, figure it out, what would your first week look like? Some red flags here. Everything is someone else's fault, or vague about their contribution, or more interested in the time off, hours, and position than ownership. Now we move into stage 4, the bench. This is where most business owners have nothing. The bench is your list of people you'd hire if the role opened tomorrow. I want to talk about how you build this. First, you want to be transparent. I'm building a bench of incredible human beings that I would want to hire as soon as the role appears. I don't have a seat today, but I want to meet you, and I really want to get to know you now. And then you start to track. You track their name, their ideal role, the key strengths, and what they're looking for, and their last contact, next touch point. Touch base quarterly with a short, genuine message. Now I want you to think about key man risk. Key man risk is any role within your company that if they left tomorrow, revenue or the operations would suffer. So let's look at this through the key man risk lens. If you ask yourself, if this person left tomorrow, what breaks? The seats with the scariest answers are where you need to build a bench first, not last, first. So this week, pick one critical role, maybe key man risk role. Reach out to 2 to 3 people that could be a fit in the future and start a simple conversation. Congratulations. That means you just started building your hiring bench. Big, big, big shift in how the company grows. So you cannot 10x your revenue on a 1x team, and no one pays a premium for a business that only works if you're there. One A player in a sales role can grow revenue without you on every single call. One A player in ops can run the day-to-day so fires get handled without you. One bad hire in either of those seats can cost you a quarter, a year, or your health. About 15 years ago, I went to sell one of my companies. The investor asked me one question: are you in the day-to-day? I said yes. They basically said, then we can't really buy this. If you leave, this business collapses. After almost an entire decade of building, the only thing they would justify was what I was already making in sales. The business where I had the right team and the right systems, those exited over a 20x multiple. Same me, different team system. So a client funnel brings you revenue. A hiring funnel builds you capacity to keep it and grow it without you. You've been building client funnels. It's time you built this one. This is the game changer for sure. If you're listening to this and thinking, okay, this is exactly why I'm still in every fire, in every decision, this is the work we do together. Inside my free self-scaling business diagnostic, we walk through your CEO system, your team system, and your profit system live. And we look specifically at where your hiring and your benches are breaking down and what to fix in the next 90 days. And as a bonus, you'll get our full A player hiring funnel playbook just for showing up live. So click the link below and save your seat for the next self-scaling business diagnostic, and we'll start mapping your A player hiring funnel together. Or if you want to keep learning right now, click next to this video and we'll keep building your scaled CEO operating system. I can't wait for you to build your A player funnel and get released from the day to day. That's what I have for you this week in the Scaled CEO. Bye for now.